Hello everybody, my name's James, welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 8 Deadline stream, and it's live, and the Deadline stream is brought to you in partnership with FPL Team, your best one-stop shop for all your FPL planning. Download the app at your usual app downloading stores. Right, over the next 58 minutes or so, I'll try and get through as many of your dilemmas as possible ahead of the 11 AM UK time deadline. Graphics on screen you'll see, bottom right hand corner you'll see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this week. Below me you'll see the benching dilemmas screen. They run in order of outfield players, pages 1 to 4, and there's goalkeepers on page 5. The player with the tick is the preferred player to start out of the two options, and they keep running in order from page 1 to 4. Right at the bottom of the screen you'll see the upcoming fixtures for all 20 teams over the next 5 game weeks. To the left of me you'll see my correct score predictions for all 10 games this game week, and that will rotate to show you my top captaincy picks in order of preference this week. Son, Salah, Nunes, Maddison, I would all captain over Haaland this week. If you want to captain Haaland, you know about the EO, etc. It's fine, I understand it, I get it, but I think amongst Tottenham and Liverpool there are 4 very good players to take him on with this week. Let's be honest, he's got Arsenal away. If you're not going to take him on this week, when are you? And it's okay not to, by the way. Top right hand corner, you will see my team as it stands. No intention to change that. 1 free transfer made. Purvis Stupinan is gone, unfortunately. Matty Cash is in. There's about $1 million in the bank. Jared Bowen is top of the agenda for me in forthcoming weeks. So I line up this week with Johnston, Cash, Saliba, Udogi, Saka, Maddison, Captain Son, Karen Mitoma, Alvarez, Haaland, Watkins, Jeremy Doku is in reserve for me. Botman and Gusto. Gusto we know is out. Botman we can only presume is out. I think it's 99% that, to be honest. Matt Turner's my backup goalkeeper, and I think he may lose his place in goal this week. Right, that's the graphics done. If the answer to your question is on screen, please do us a courtesy of deleting the question. I'll give you a shout out if I see you've retracted the message. It just makes everything run a bit smoother and quicker. Any repeat similar questions will most likely just be skipped. Lin Tian Bao is first. Says, hi James, looking to wildcard game week 10. Who would you sell between Sterling and Saka to get Maddison for the next 2 weeks? Sterling, to be honest. I think he'll start for Chelsea today, but I don't think that's a given. I actually think of the two, Saka's more likely to play. You'll definitely want Saka back in 10. I get that, you're wildcarding in 10. But like, he's pen taker. Yeah, I'd keep Saka in. What he hauled against Tottenham, what he scored at home to Man City last year, is nothing to say he can't do well this weekend. JP says, hi James, who would you sell next game week to fund? Why is everyone looking at next week? Who would you sell next game week to fund Salah move out of Saka? Mad son. Excuse me. Someone else. Let's see how today goes, but the correct answer there is probably Maddison, with concern about doing that. Chim says, best 1 game week punt in midfield under 7.8 million and not from Spurs. Luis Diaz, I think, probably top of the shop for that, for a 1 game week punt maybe. Yeah, I with the Fulham players I'd be too concerned with kind of William, Decordova, Reed, Wilson, like which 2 start. That's a little bit ugly. Probably wouldn't want to go down that route. You don't want to buy Everton, do you? I think 1 week punt, Chelsea, which 2 of the 3 kind of Palmer, Mudryk, Sterling plays, questionable. That's too cheap for Fernandes, Rashford. So the Luis Diaz for me, mate. I think I'm pretty sure that falls into value for you. Neil Thompson says, morning, would you pick Turner on a wild card? Cheers for the content. Yes, I still would. I'd go him and Areola. I think the only thing with that is, if Areola got injured or something, you need money in the bank to move to another goalkeeper if Turner loses his place. So I'd have a consciousness of that. But yeah, I would just go Areola and Turner and cheap it out. Ian PTSD says, morning James, final wildcard decision is Trippier / Douglas Luiz, could be Gordon, or Shah Diaby. Any preference? Yeah, do you know what, on that one is probably the Trips option, I think. Just about. I'll tell you why as well. I'd rather just go to Burn than Share, to be honest. I know Share's got better attacking threat and stuff. I'd probably just rather go Burn. And then can Diaby become Bowen? I'm going to guess probably not. Diaby's obviously a very good pick. I think he probably will play tomorrow. So, do you know what? I'll say share Diaby if that's your debate, Ian. Although he does feel not great to be advising against trips. Not advising against trips, it's the combination. JP says, how big is Rodri to the AFC City game outcome? Huge. I think Arsenal win tomorrow. Joseph Snell says, hi James, best 4.5 defender. Palace, Sufal, Bournemouth. Well, the answer to this probably lies in what do you want to rotate it with, to be honest, at that price. So it depends on your other players. Mark Gay maybe would have gone in for me. I think that's an option. I'd maybe have a little preference for Emerson over Sufal personally. From Bournemouth, it would be Milos Kerkez if you're going to go down that route, but I need to see a bit more from him, I think, especially after last week's performance wasn't good. So for me, I'd probably go Emerson, but I've got Johnston in goal. So if you've got Areola in goal, it's probably going to be Gay, maybe. Snicko says, hey James, going 3-4-3 on Wildcard with Darwin, Alvarez and Haaland. Who's the best 5.0 mid for an 8th attacker? Cheers, mate. I'm going to say Cole Palmer. There's risk in that, and it's probably a move you'd rather make in a couple of weeks. But because of Chelsea's fixtures as well, most weeks you're fairly comfortable to have that as the 8th attacker and bench it. I think there's potential there with Cole Palmer. If that was how I was going, I'd probably pay that a little extra than kind of Anderson McAtee, I think, for that. JP says, Sky FF differentials you're looking at? Probably not, to be totally honest. Probably not. There's nothing I've got in my plans that's kind of wild at the moment. I'd be very, very honest. It's just not, mate. Jonathan Aves says, hi James, hope you're well. Worth going Porro instead of Udogie and Wildcard. Cheers, have a nice weekend. Please, no one ask me this question again. Absolutely, by miles. Look, I've got him on captaincy in 8th. Yeah, Porro for me all day long. Udogie's a great option, right? I've got Udogie. He's perfectly reasonable. It's fine. 100% if I was wildcard, I'd be going Porro instead. Ryan Remfrey says, hit the wildcard last few disciplines. I presume that's meant to be decisions. Douglas Luiz and Gabriel, or Neto and Gay, thanks. I prefer the Gabriel option a little bit longer term in terms of having Arsenal coverage for some very good fixtures, kind of Sheffield United in 10, Burnley 12, then Brentford, Wolves, Luton. Yeah, I'd rather have the Arsenal player in place. So that would be the big influence on the final decision there, Ryan. What I would shout out though, Ryan, is Hwang as an alternative to Douglas Luiz. Could be quite cheeky. I see Bradley's got him in, our Wolves correspondent, following Clash of Correspondent. He's gone for Hwang. Ryan Remfrey says, hit the wild, that's what we've just done. Mueto says, hi James, play Share or Gay. I mean, with the fixture, go Gay, mate. Although I do fancy Forest to win tonight, but I think on the fixture, yeah, I would go for Gay. Andrew Jarvis says, hey mate, unbeknownst to me, my wife is working this morning so I can join the deadline stream. Would you ever take your wife to watch Spurs with you? Good luck for the game week. I have, mate, so yeah, I would. But it was also, happier times. Adam says, morning James, what are your thoughts on Douglas Luiz over Diaby? This would fund getting Watkins in game week 10. I mean, thoughts on Luiz over Diaby, not a fan, but if it's funding what you want to do for Ollie Watkins, yeah, I get it. Just be very conscious, Adam, that Ollie Watkins is probably going to keep getting steamed into over the next couple of weeks, I should imagine. So just, if you're 0.1 spare, that's probably not going to do it for you. So just consider that. Steve says, good morning, James. Do I first bench Ward-Prowse, Diaby or Archer and start the other two? Thanks and good luck. For me, that would be first bench Diaby, reluctantly, and then Archer, and I would start Ward-Prowse, mate. Ward-Prowse is, forget fixtures, is consistency, right? If you got him, just play him. Andrew Jarvis says, Sky question, have no Spurs cover. Can do Saka and Vinicius Souza to Son and Maddison today. Would you do one or both? Cheers. No, neither, mate. Neither. If you've got anything for captaincy today, like a Thiago Silva or anything like that, Jarvo, I'd be quite happy to do that. If you've got Rashford or Fernandes, I'd captain that. Anything that's mildly reasonable from United or Chelsea and Sky today, I would just captain and leave that and come back for it for the Monday night game against Fulham in Sky. JP says, thoughts on no international call-up for James Ward-Prowse? Gareth Southgate knows exactly what he's capable of. Let's be realistic and honest about it. He's not going to start him. It's cool. It always has to be something to have a gripe about with the England squads. Like this week, there's no left back. There's literally no left backs to choose from. You look at the left backs who started in the Premier League last week and who's English. The only one you'd consider is Colwell. Just called him up. Ter Okasong says Almiron or Neto on Wildcard. I don't mind the Almiron pick. It's quite cheeky, actually. I don't mind that at all. The Almiron pick. So, yeah, that would slight preference for me. Neil Thompson says Gabriel or Burn on Wildcard. Hope Spurs come good for you in my FPL team. Gabriel the preference, Neil. Gabriel the preference. Yeah, it won't feel like it now with City, Chelsea, Newcastle in the next three of the next four. But I just think that's going to be a good pick longer term, I think. Tetok Song says Darwin or Maddison on Wildcard. It would be Maddison for me, mate. Vish says no Haaland Wildcard draft. Thoughts on general? As in FPL general. Brilliant content creator. Love Mark. No Haaland Wildcard draft. Yeah, I would possibly be treble Liverpool under that circumstance, and I've got none. So, yeah, it's fine. Listen, look, in summary on Haaland, if you're going without, cool, good luck. If you're sticking with him, cool, good luck. If you're still captain this weekend, cool, good luck. Like, play it your way. Like, he's Haaland, right? We can have this discussion to death. I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know about him. And same applies to, say, presumably if you go no Haaland, you're definitely going Salah. So, again, what am I going to tell you about Salah you don't already know? JP says, how was Poch in big games? Chelsea have hard fixtures coming. Yep, we know that. Mixed, I would say, is the honest answer. As most clubs will be in big games, mate. James Wilson says, hey, James, hope you and the family are well. Last decision on Wildcard. Bowen and Udogie or Ward-Prowse and Porro. Can't afford Bowen and Porro. Good luck this week. Yeah, that kind of feels like one. It's like if you can't get the Bowen, Ward-Prowse is fine. And I really do, at this moment in time, prefer Porro over Udogie. Really, really do. FPL Sponge says best defender for the next 2 weeks before Wildcard game week 10. Porro. Literally, Porro, Udogie, Cash. If you have all of them, you probably won't. But you might be blocked because of other assets, maybe. For the two, you could punt Milos Kerkez. I'm not a massive fan of that. Dallo, if it's affordable, maybe. Brentford at home, Sheffield United away, I think for the two is pretty reasonable. Andrew Peake says Captain Salah or Sonny. On the screen, mate. It'll spin round for the predictions in a second, mate. Sonny's tops for me, mate. Dion Chung says, morning, James. Would you start out of Lyle Foster, Colwell and Soufal, mate? Chelsea's the only team I'm backing for a clean sheet this week, so it's probably Colwell, I think, mate. Shout out my friend FPL Rhinos. Hope you're well, mate. Bor Christensen Melanzo says, morning, sir. Is Stupinan to Porro from -4 means Kabore bench. Cheers. Yeah, he's the only one. He's the only one, Pedro, I'd take -4 for. I wouldn't take -4 for Udogie. Porro I would. I think Udogie and Cash would be borderline for it. But yeah, Pedro Porro -4, yeah. He's a really rare one where I'd say, yeah, go for it. Pete Haley says, hi, James. I'm on Wildcard and going without Salah. Thinking of moving Saka out for 2 games. I already have Son, Maddison, Luis Diaz. Who should I get in? Thanks. If you don't know, mate, then I suggest you stick with him. Genuinely, that's my advice. Just stay with Saka, mate. Just stay with him. Frankie says, morning, James. Which is most worth the -4? Saliba to Trippier or Mbumo to Diaz? Neither. Wouldn't do either, mate. I mean, to be honest, like thinking moving forward and longer term, I suppose trips, isn't it? But would I actually do it from -4? I'm not convinced, mate. Not convinced. And Mbumo to Diaz, sure, better this week. Next week, Mbumo plays Burnley at home and Diaz probably doesn't start. So, yeah, I wouldn't bother. Michael Lewis says, hi, James. What do you think about Haaland, Eze, Stupinan out for Solanke, Salah, Porro -4? And Salah captain, I already have Son, thanks. And it's fine if you prefer Salah over Son. Like, this just preference, isn't it? Haaland, Eze, Stupinan out for Solanke, Salah, Porro. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, you got three starters over 1 starter. So, yeah, it's fine. Consider what the bench is, Michael. Like, I don't know what that looks like and what position you'd be in with no Eze or a Stupinan this week. So, but on the face of it, yeah, sure. JP says, when was the last time you had a big tasty? Ooh, probably 6 months ago, maybe. I don't know. Kyrie says, hi James, hope you're good. Have you seen some of Paul Tompkins' reports on bias in the Prem? Should this be taken with a grain of salt, even though it has supportive data? I've not seen any of it, mate, so not bothered. If you want to tag me to something, do so, but don't tag me today because I'm going to watch Tottenham and nothing else will be on my mind, to be honest. Vanandi says, hi James, hope all is well. Play 2 of Morris, Sterling and Foden. Definitely play Phil Foden, almost irrespective of fixture. So for me, just Sterling over Morris. Just close though. Dermot Whelan says, morning James, Udogie and Bowen or Porro and Diaby? Porro and Diaby. To be honest, the preference on all of these, I think the others are close enough. The preference is going to be Porro. Like nearly all of them, I think. MRCX says, hiya James. Hello mate. FPL Sponge says, rationale behind score prediction for Everton Bournemouth. Sat on the train up to be in the way end and feels like a massive fixture for both clubs. It is. Part of that rationale though, my friend, is I think it's a bigger game for Everton. Purely because of what you've got next. Wolves at home, Burnley at home, right? Whereas Everton, I've covered this several times, after this game it's just rough for 20 weeks. So it feels like a bigger game for Everton. I think scoring goals with Calvert-Lewin in the team feels a little bit better now. Obviously last week against Luton they had 70% of the ball, but that's no good for them. You'll try and play them. So I think there'll be opportunities there. Your defence is quite young and inexperienced. It's not bad, but it's young and it will come under physical pressure today. So I think that's why I give Everton the edge. Can you go down and win, mate? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Good luck. Enjoy the trip, mate. LH says, morning, mate. Nothing from the Wildcard played. 4-4-2. Need a big week. All the best. Hope it's 3 points for you and Leeds. Cheers, James. Good luck, mate. James Lovegrove says, morning, James. On Wildcard, Trent and Trips with a difficult route back to Saka or Trent instead of Trips. More balance and money in the bank for an easy Saka move. I wouldn't go Trent, I don't think. I get it. A lot of people have landed with this where it's like, oh shit, I can have Trent, Trippier, Cash, Porro, for example. And it's like, oh my God. And it does look great, don't get me wrong. But what's going to be your sacrifice when you want something that's more expensive in midfield? It's probably going to be Trent. I'd rather be spreading it, I think. And I get it. It's like, because I can, right? And listen, he could be great over these weeks. But something like Trippier, Cash, Porro with rotating alternatives and then having an extra 3 million or so in the bank. Like, he's loads of good options at kind of like 4.7 to like 5.1-ish or so. So I just wouldn't go Trent. Even consider things like John Stones coming back fit for Manchester City in the near future, right? It's like 5.3 or so. I don't know how to justify Trent over the Moore, to be honest. So it'd be Trips instead of Trent and more balance for the Saka move. But as said, James, I think for me, I would just go with him. I would just, if you know you want to go there, just go with him. What's the worst that happens this weekend? He doesn't play. It's Bukayo Saka. He's brilliantly consistent. I don't think the fixtures matter so much for him. Think of it like this. Could Arsenal win like 3-2 tomorrow against Man City? I know it's like, it's Man City. But could you have a game like that tomorrow and Saka gets a goal and assist? Like, yes. So I'd just go with him. FPL Gate, he says, morning James. Alvarez, I understand people were setting up Son to Saka, by the way, in 10. Like, I get that completely. FPL Gate, morning James. Alvarez to Darwin from -4 and captain. Don't fancy Son in the early kickoff. Can't get to Mo. Not for me, no. I just think Alvarez is insane value. Again, could City lose 3-2 at Arsenal and Alvarez scores? Like, yeah, I just wouldn't for the hit, personally, no. I get it a little bit for free. Actually, no, I totally get it for free. For a hit, not convinced. There's a fair chance neither of them start next week as well, truthfully. So consider that. Something for those who are going like Alvarez, Darwin Núñez and Watkins on Wildcard, which is a great front three, by the way. If you're going without Haaland, it's probably the three I'd go with, but I'd have a real consciousness about that for game week 9. There's a fair chance neither of them start. Meninda says, to replace Eze with a player I want, I need to lose Saka too. Now Saka is clear to play. Wonder if it's worth a -4 still egg Bowen and Diaz. Or do I just play Archer this week and have 2 FTs next week? So I'm not sure why it's worth a -4 then, Meninda. And again, it's repetitive what I've said about Diaz, Nunes, etc. I'd just leave him be, mate. I'd leave him be. I'd be really surprised if Bukayo Saka doesn't play tomorrow. And it is easier for me to say when I've got like a Doku in reserve, but that doesn't feel great. Like, it's getting left, mate. Uros Milicevic says, hi James, Trippier, Diaby and Archer, or Taylor, Bowen and Alvarez on Wildcard. So you kind of got Archer / Taylor as your bench option there, right? I think the Bowen Alvarez route, actually, personally. MRCX says, in your opinion, who is the best sub 8 million midfielder going forward apart from Bowen? Despite the fact I think there's a strong possibility to be benched next week, I would say Luis Diaz, but I've really got my eyes on the Gabriel Martinelli situation, and when he's back, because I think that could be an absolutely brilliant differential. You obviously would not pick him at this moment in time, but I'd have eyes on that. Martinelli. Has Maddison hit 8 yet? That's probably not part of your question, but the answer would be Bowen, I think. Eyes on Martinelli. And we're on a real differential. Don't rule out the likes of Mitoma even from game week 10, honestly. Diaby's obviously a really good pick. There's lots of good options there. James Lovegrove wants everyone to smash a like, people. Yes, that would be nice. Thank you, James. Yes, smash a like. Let's do a percentage run. How many have done it? Pretty piss poor, guys. About 15% of you smash a like. Doesn't cost anything. It's a free stream. Carl says, play Kabore or -4 to Porro. Porro's the one. Yeah, I would do it. You'll feel better about your team next week as well, right? I would do it. Horia says, hey, James, play Alvarez or Diaby this week. Alvarez for me. Aaron Hill says, hi James, as a Blaze fan, it's hard to see my team as the one to target now, but completely understand why we are. Still enjoying the Premier League ride though. Good luck this week and all the best to you. And to you too, Aaron. I think you get something today. I think you get something. Good luck. Kenneth Vaz says, if you're watching this over the several other streams, that deserves the extra second to smash the like button. Yeah, smash the like button, people. Thank you, Kenneth. Ben M says, thanks for all. Play Sarr for Spurs or Archer, thanks. Oh, yeah, I'd probably play Pap today. Yeah, I'd probably play Pap. Yeah. Richards Avdo says, good morning, James. Is it too crazy to captain Bruno to Son? To captain Bruno to Son? What's the question there, mate? Is it Bruno instead of Son? Is that what it's meant to be? I would not be keen on Bruno's 10th on mine. Yeah, it's fine. You want to do it. I would not be keen. Ludwig says, morning, James. Prefer Salah and Diaby or Son, Diaby and Darwin. -4 as an 8 for tackle would allow me to bench Mitoma next 2 game weeks. It's just not worth the hit for me, mate. I don't think. Nah, cause it's directly over Mitoma, right? I want to say I think Mitoma scored in both those fixtures last season. I might have that wrong, but I think he did. He certainly scored against Liverpool in the Cup. I can't remember if he scored against them at home in the league. And I'm pretty sure he scored Brighton's goal at the Etihad last year as well. So, like, he's capable, isn't he? He'll find space easier in these games. I wouldn't stress about it. I'd more stress about him starting. I don't think he's 100% for tomorrow, to be honest. I think he'll start. Jim says, hi James, do you reckon Sterling starts? Tempted to sell him, but it would be for a hit. Diaby would be the replacement, but his flag possibly suggests I should leave it. I think you've answered your own question there, Jim. To add Sterling, yes, he's in my predicted Chelsea lineup. Adnan says, Hwang or Douglas Luiz for 5th mid. I'd arguably punt Hwang. It's really close. We discussed this on COTC on Thursday. I really don't mind that Hwang punt, actually. I think it's interesting. I'd arguably do it, you know. I think so. Because I just know that Douglas Luiz wouldn't be the best choice that I could have from Villa. I.e., the best 3 from Villa, I think if you're a wild card and forget the money, would be Cash, Diaby, Watkins. Whereas just imagine you had to have 3 Wolves. You'd go Hwang, Neto, and you probably wouldn't go to 3rd, right? So Hwang is potentially the best Wolves option. Whereas Douglas Luiz is definitely not in the top 3 for Villa for me. So I'd arguably go Hwang. MRCX says, what do you think about West Ham defenders? Do you prefer out of Soufal, Emerson, the cat kicker? The best option of them is probably Zuma, but I'd probably go Emerson. Sorry, Such. Ralph Reese says, hi, James. Is holding the wild card as late as possible? Will you be too far behind? He's holding the wild card late as possible. Will you be too far behind? It's completely dependent on your team, right? Listen to me. You want a wild card now? Like, good luck, crack on. If it'll be right for you, right? And those who aren't wild carding, it's not right for them. Genuinely, for me, if I wild carded this week, all of that attacking 7 that's in my team today, I'd probably keep. So it's not right for me. It's not right for me, but it doesn't mean it's not right for someone else. So I'm pretty happy. I look at the team I'm hopefully going to be able to put together in Gameweek 10, and it looks disgusting, even with no Liverpool. So I'm happy to take the route that I'm going for. Who's next? Sophie says, morning, James. Good morning, Sophie. Who would you sell to bring in Salah, Rashford or Mbumo? Best of luck for the game week. Well, I can't answer who you'd sell, Sophie, unfortunately, because I don't know who you've got, mate. Unless the question... Actually, sorry, I probably misread the question. Would you sell Rashford or Mbumo to get Salah? I mean, to be honest, as much as I sold Rashford last week and he's been pissing me off, I would look at that Sheffield United fixture next week and think, yeah, I could sell that, and then to Saka in 10 if you don't have would be great. So if you can move Mbumo to Salah, if that's part of the question, Sophie, then yeah, get it done. Stephen says, hey James, thoughts on a crazy Calvert-Lewin captaincy this week to take on Haaland? I don't think it's necessary, Stephen. Like, if you've got proper logic behind why you want to do that, then go for it. Do you want a statistic? A mad one. I saw this on FB Ref last night. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has the same XG this season as Mohamed Salah. How many games has Calvert-Lewin played? So he's probably, his XG per 90 probably looks mad at the moment. No. Firm no. J-Lord Broski says, hi James, read a stat the other day that since our takeover, he's talking about Newcastle, we've now took over Man City in scoring 4+ goals in game. Are we being blind to Newcastle assists in forward positions? Hope you're well. I'm all good, mate, thank you. I think the problem with the Newcastle offensive players is, like, Almiron is a good option. I think it's cheeky. Gordon's really nicely priced, but it's obviously unavailable this weekend. Isak Wilson's just a bloody headache, isn't it? That's all. Like, if one gets injured, I want the other one. It's generally as straightforward as that. I think the likes of Guimaraes, Longstaff and stuff is not really... And obviously Trippier provides so much as well. So, no, I wouldn't say it's necessarily being overlooked. It's comparison to others as well. Like, I'd ask you straight, who would you rather have the next few weeks? Is it like Almiron or Diaby? And you might say Almiron, and that's fine, but I think most would say Diaby as an example. Birth Media says Captain Solanke. Yeah, cool, mate. Crack on. Good luck. Adrian Farouk says, took me out of a -4, Saka to Luis Diaz, wildcard in 10. Saka will play tomorrow, I think. Saka will play in game week 9. Alistair Hargreaves says, hi James, Gay and Cole Palmer or Neto and Kabore. Yeah, Gay and Palmer for me, mate. Richard Borgen says, is it worth Eze to Wood-Prowse -4 or play Saliba no bench cover? Well, I think it depends what your 11 is, right? But look at your 11 and even ask yourself, are they unlikely to play at all? On the face of it, I'm going to say someone like James Ward-Prowse is probably not worth a -4 unless it's facilitating another move, would be my take. Anish says, hey James, good luck again. Do you think Son will have a higher EO than Haaland this week? No chance. No chance. Haaland's EO is still going to be monstrous. I don't care what it says on Twitter and no one on the Bird app's captain Haaland and all that. Trust me, Haaland's captaincy will be massive. Now it might be that, say, top 10k, top 100k EO, etc. might be different, but I'd also think that because there's so many people who've had difficult starts this season, that you've got a lot of teams in the top 100k at the moment are not that engaged, and we'll just have Haaland captaincy and stuff, I think. So no, I would be very, very surprised if Haaland isn't comfortably the highest on EO, even still. If you own Haaland and you're not captain this week, like me, he's a loser for you, basically, what he does. He's playing Arsenal, so I hope he still does well. Heather says, hi James, would you bench Udogie or Share? I would not be leaving any Tottenham player out this week, I don't think, mate. There was one earlier I answered about playing Sarr, right? So, no, I played Destiny, mate. Brett M says, hi James, hope you're well. You've predicted Diaby to start, but prefer to bench him in favour of Morris. Please explain the reasons. Also, do you think Udogie to Porro is worth a free transfer? Cheers. For free, I'd strongly consider that, Udogie to Porro, but obviously, could that free transfer be used for better use for you in terms of your planning in future weeks? Use a tool like FPL Team to have a look. In terms of Morris over Diaby, I think it's a difficult game for Villa tomorrow. They don't have a great record at Molineux, and we can't be certain that he starts. I think he will. So predicting him to be in the lineup when we know he's sort of 75%ish is very different to a Carlton Morris I know who's going to play today and he's a penalty taker for Luton. And that's it. It's literally that. So it's on minutes, it's on predictions, it's awareness of the situation. So, like, I predicted him to start. He's not 100%, is he? So, if I had Morris there in that circle, I think I'd play him. I'd kind of feel Luton, I think, will score today. And he's the most likely one, isn't he? So, it's on that. I don't see Diaby hauling either. And the other beauty with Morris is, let's say Morris scored a penalty and it did finish 1-1. Hypothetically, right? He'd probably take top bonus as well, you know. So it's Morris for me, but it's obviously a close call. Josh Tellin says, morning James, I know you have Sterling over Ward-Prowse in your benching dilemma. If it was Bowen instead of Ward-Prowse, would Sterling still be higher? I'll play Bowen over Sterling. Bowen's right near the top, mate, so it's Bowen over Sterling, mate. Murphy says, hi James, which of Rashford, Saka or Foden to sell to get Son captain? For me, Marcus Rashford. He's got the best fixture, but Rashford. He's not at it as far as I'm concerned. I spoke about this a lot over the last couple of weeks. And I'm pleased that I made that Rashford Son move prior to last week. So he'd be reluctant because of the next two fixtures. I don't think Brentford's great. It's that Sheffield United one next week. You think, oh, he could go off in that. But yeah, I'd sell Rashford, I think. Chris Bradley says, hey James, just a quick note. The benching dilemmas aren't rotating through. Thank you very much. That's why I've had a couple of Boeing questions. It is now. Apologies. But thank you for pointing that out. It will spin round now. Apologies. Thank you. Shout out Alex Mann. Hope you're well. Mark Ellison says, hey James, thanks for your great content. Just wanted to say, can't you Spurs have a great game week? You too, my friend. Steve says, if Turner is dropped, would you not be best starting him? And if he doesn't play, then you get Johnston anyway, and he is predicted to concede more than Turner. So surely this is best option. No. I think most people will disagree with my opinion. If I went into a bookmakers this week and said, who's more likely for a clean sheet, Palace or Forest? They'd tell me Palace. So, no. Although I think Forest will... I've predicted Forest to win. I think most people will be in disagreement with that, and I accept that, and it's close enough to call. I just have a fancy. It's a fancy. It's not a confidence. I have a fancy that Forest will win at Palace today. So, no, I'm sticking with Johnson. Think of it the other way. How gutted am I if I'm completely wrong? Turner starts and Palace win 1-0. Nah, I'd rather do it this way, mate. Zubin says Richarlison and Diaby or Maddison and Neto. Lewis Conley says, hi James, looking to wildcard game at 10, sell one of Foden, Saka, Rashford for Son. Was that your question I just answered as well? No, it was someone else, I think. Carl says, Sterling -4 to Maddison this week. Yeah, I don't mind that actually. FPL El Hadri says, on wildcard, last decision for my final three, Porro, Neto, Ward-Prowse, Porro, Bowen, Anderson, or Udogie, Neto, Diaby, Porro, Bowen, mate. Sheriff says, is the benching dilemma frozen? It's not anymore, apologies. Zubin Moido says, Solanke and Neto or Diaby and Gabriel. Diaby, Gabriel. James Nelson says, hi James, good luck this week and thanks as always. Is Botman a hold? And if so, who to bring in long term? Feels like I will only want a Newcastle defender back. Sideways move to Burn. So, yeah, again, look, it's dependent on your bench, right? So, look, for me, playing Saliba this week against Man City, is it ideal? No, not really. But then I think about it and go, do a really fancy Newcastle for a clean sheet at West Ham? Not particularly either, to be honest. So, he could be back in 9, right? Have you got a player this week? Have you got anyone you can stick in there this week? Pedro Porro, except certainly Trippier as well, of course. Obviously, people can go there for a -4. And maybe Matty Cash are the only ones I could justify a -4 for. Otherwise, I don't think anything else is worth it. And I think if Botman was back for 9, you probably regret making a sideways move and probably having the free transfers. It's probably going to be better for you, to be honest. George Kenny says, probably starting turnover Areola here. Feels worth a punt. Surely Newcastle score. Yeah, that's fine, mate. Frederick Hart says, cheers, James. Wildcarding without Haaland with rotating 8 up front. Bench 1 of Saka, Bowen, Mitoma and Almiron this week. Tough. It wouldn't be Saka, I can tell you that. I think Almiron, you know. Yeah, it's tough that. Close. I mean, Almiron, probably. Pranav says, hello, James. What are the advantages of late wildcard this season? Which game to target? Pranav, what I'd say is we did a whole podcast on this on Tuesday. Okay, so it won't date so much in the sense of we speak about wildcarding in like 8, 9 or 10, for example. So have a listen back to that. What's right for me is going to be later, I think, rather than now. But if I get 4 or 5 injuries this week, I'm obviously pulling the wild card, aren't I? So you've got the blank game week 19. You've highly likely got City double in game week 20. There's also a turn of fixtures for sort of City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham around about that part as well. A few other teams with enablers as well. So have a listen back to the podcast on Tuesday is the best advice I can give you. You don't have to do that now. And do it tonight, tomorrow, whatever. It will largely kind of still be all right. Kenneth Hobstead says, on wildcard, Diaby or Darwin? Darwin. I can't shake the is he going to play next week? But I also think it's 2 tough games for Diaby, Wolves, Villa, and then from 10, I'd probably rather have Nunes there, and I'd rather have Nunes this week as well. So, Nunes. Kari says, do you think Ten Hag will be able to turn things around at United? And has any Dutch manager been able to be successful in the Prem before? I can feel Chelsea fans probably saying Gus Hiddink. I think, to be honest, in terms of the start of the last 20 years for Tottenham, in terms of improvements, Martin Jol was a massive part of that. So I think he had success taking Tottenham from nothing to a team that was in contention for the top 4. So you could argue that as success, to be honest. And Sunderland fans may even say Dick Advocat keeping them up was successful as well. And there's probably someone else I've mentioned. Ruud Gullit won an FA Cup, didn't he, with Chelsea, their first trophy for, what was it at the time, 27 years, I think, maybe. So, yeah, there's been a few. Can he turn it round? Yeah, of course he can. Will he? I think that might be as much up to the players, to be honest, and obviously the backing from upstairs as well. Something just feels wrong with the whole football club all the time, doesn't it? So I don't think, although they're struggling, and although I'd have question marks about the relationship that he has with some of the players and ask, are they giving it everything? And if he's lost them, then it's done. I don't quite think that's the case, and I don't think United changing is the right answer. I don't think it's the right answer. Basically, what happens with United is, spoke about this, I think, on Monday's pod. Might have been our Patreon pod, even, in fairness. It's like they get a problem and they plug it, but by the time they plug that problem, they've got other ones. It always feels like that. It never feels like they have a transfer window where they go, right, we have an overhaul, we're going to get younger players, we're going to fix all these problems long term. It never feels like that. It's like, let's plug this problem. Oh, shit, now this one's got a hole in it. It always feels like that with United. Nathan Jacobson says, hi James, what are your thoughts on price change in FPL? For me, it handicaps those that are already having a bad season. Other fancy games like Sky have shown that it's not at all necessary. Look, the different formats, so you've got different formats of style and play with transfers. It doesn't bother me. It's part of the game and the nature. I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago when there was the one price change, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was, but someone went up or down and they really shouldn't have, based on the models and the predictions. And it doesn't make sense to me that there's no transparency on price changes when this is meant to be a simplified game, basically, that anyone can play. That doesn't make sense to me. but it is what it is. I certainly don't lose any sleep about it. Abdullah says, no trip to Luton today. No, couldn't get a ticket, unfortunately. So I'll be finishing this stream in 18 minutes and going down the pub. Sheriff says, play Morris or Archer, mate. Yikes, Morris. MRCX says, any concerns about Gabriel's playing time going forward? Not particularly, to be totally honest, no. Eshan says, will Richarlison start the next two? Thinking of bringing him in for Sterling for a hit? I wouldn't do that, mate. It's like Tottenham for the sake of having Tottenham. Does he start today? Almost definitely. Brennan Johnson be fit for game week 9. And the only thing I can tell you is, in the one game where Johnson and Richarlison were both available for starts, he favoured Johnson. Now, Arsenal way is very different to Fulham at home, but you're asking me to give you, does he start the next two? Probably depends how he plays today. SWJ says, I've got 6 injuries. Shall I use up my free hit or take -8? Don't use your free hit, mate. I'll make that very, very simple. Don't take... Think of it like you got 6 injuries, right? Take a free hit. Are they all back fit next week, are they? No, don't free hit, mate. Cherie says, on Wildcard 8, if turn lost play should go 3.9. Areola start. Yeah, cool. Michael Scott says, start Archer or Sterling. Fear cameo for Sterling, not worth hit for Bowen. What would you rather now? If I told you Archer was going to get 75 minutes and Sterling was going to get 30, who would you rather have? I'd play Sterling, mate. FPL El Hadri says, thank you for the content. Bernal Gabriel on Wildcard already have trips. No Arsenal in team at the moment. Then Gabriel, mate. FPL Gold Galazzo. Good morning, James, aka FPL Top Advisor. Has someone got that as a handle? If not, go for it. Have a great game week. Smash the like button, you mags. Cheers, mate. How many we got on likes now, guys? What we on for a percentage? Let's have a look. I mean... Guys, we're running at about 41%ish or so here for likes. Doesn't cost anything. It's free stream. If you want to actually pay for something, join Patreon. I'd love to have you join us, support the show. Because without the patrons, there is no deadline stream. And I mean that genuinely. Kuto says, benching dilemmas, stack not moving. Yeah, cool, we got it. Mayanak, is Watkins essential? We don't do essential on this stream, mate. There's no such thing. Lincoln Begg says, how are you, James? I'm good, thank you, mate. On Wildcard, Gay and Porro or Anderson or Doggy? Yeah, Porro, mate. You know the answer to this already. Lemon says, plan was to go Morris McAtee to Archer Gordon. But now he's suspended. Still go there or go Neto. Got his Stupinan Diaby, so potentially light. Fix his Stupinan first and come back for the other one, no? No? That would be my take on that. Fix his Stupinan. Benedict Troy says, morning, James. Thoughts on Sky Captain tomorrow? It'd likely be Salah for me. GP says, start Archer. But as explained on Wednesday's pod, it will be dependent on the Brighton team. And I do know, obviously, Pascal Gross is back. And I think that's the big one. So we'll have a look at the teams first and then make my decision. But at the moment, he's bust on Salah for tomorrow. MRCX says, cheers for the stream, James. Can't wait for our match to kick off. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. GP wants to start Archer over Saka. And for me, this... Yeah, I'm going to move on. Jay Lee says, hey, man. Bench one, please. Morris, Archer, Foden. Just so you know, it's... yeah, I got it. Cheers, mate. Archer, mate. Christian Lindstrom says, hi, James. Would you start Trent or Mitoma in their game, thinking Brighton might come back last week, lost with a vengeance? Come you Spurs, of course, with 3 Spurs this week. Would I start Trent? If you own Trent, you start Trent, don't you? The other teams don't have as good enough fixtures to even contemplate not, I don't think. Owen Jones says, James versus Zinchenko on Wildcard. Gusto, mate, because Reece James probably get injured before game week 9. No, Zinchenko, mate, for me. Rasmus says, your choice on Burnley defender, Taylor, or spend 0.1 extra on Bayer or the kill? I would go Bayer. I'd spend a 0.1 more just in case it changes, would be my take. But if that's potentially going to be the difference between something longer term for you, then just go Taylor, should be fine. Callum says, I have sold Haaland on my wild card now, but if Haaland scores versus Arsenal, then I will bring Haaland back in game week 9 by doing -8. Is it okay? Would Haaland be odds on to score in this game week? Would he be odds on to score? I mean, I don't know the bookies odds, but it'd be close. Close enough to think, just leave him be, mate. if that's how you truly feel. Like, what difference does it make anyway, right? Seriously, whether he scores or not. What are you going to do if he has one? If he barely kicks the ball and scores tomorrow, right? That's possible. What are you going to do if he has 3 big chances and misses them all? Like, if you really feel that way about it, maybe just leave him in, mate. Man says, thoughts on Sterling or -4 for someone else? Yeah, I'll just play him this week. Get him rid for free next. Charlie says, are you happy if I ask a Sky question on here, James, mate? Others do, mate. So, yeah, crack on. We're about 13 minutes from deadline, by the way, guys. Get yourselves locked in would be the good advice. If there is any Tottenham news, I'll obviously share it. But honestly, I'll be very surprised if the team isn't as shown on screen. So Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Sarr, Bissouma, Maddison, Kulusevski, Son and Richarlison. I'd be very surprised if that's not the team. Nathan says, hi James, would you start Diaby, Cameron Archer? Diaby. Peter says, morning James, I'm struggling between Estupinan and Saka to Trippier and Derby from -4 or Saka to Maddison for free. Thoughts? I don't mind Saka to Maddison for free if you've got the intention to go back, would be my take. Nathan says, hi James, thoughts on Pedro Porro's differential captaincy this week? He's 8th on the captaincy ticker, mate. Elias says, morning James, should I bench Archer or João Pedro? I think Pedro starts, but he's a pain in the arse, isn't he, from that perspective. I just think, like, what can Archer be? I think I'd start João Pedro, to be honest. It's a close one, that, but I think you play. So I've still got like the best XG in the league, Brighton. So I think. So I'd play Pedro, mate. Lee says, hi James, bench Sterling or Archer, play Sterling. Zubin says, any recommended differential picks for the wild card? Huang. There you go, Huang. Ben Ayu says, I'm hoping... I wouldn't do it myself, by the way. Ben Ayu says, I'm hoping you had a word with the FPL gods. Seeing him third on your captain's list heavily reassured me. I'll blame you if it's a mistake. If it goes well, the gods don't exist and I'll take the credit. Yeah, cool. I like the way you explained that. Noah says, James, sell Saka or Foden for Son, captain -4. Just keep both, Captain Maddison. Keep both, Captain Madders. Michael H says, hi James, Isak or Nunes? I have Salah, no Haaland. Nunes for me, mate. Edwin says, hey James, yeah, got it, and thanks Kuto. Yeah, Finley says, would you do Saliba 2 and defender to for -4? Well, I've got to say no, haven't I, Finley, because I don't understand what the question is, pal. James C100 says, yeah, thanks mate. Richie Sherwood, hi James, hope you're well. Am I mad? I transferred out Haaland and Saka for Salah and Holland, what, the whole country. Am I having a midlife crisis, brave or playing stupid? It's brave, mate. Good luck. Sam Cole says, accidentally bought Haaland for 14.1. Would you have Nunes for this week and money in bank for Haaland next week? 40s, I will lose 0.1 if I hold for this week. Just leave it be, mate. If you know you want Haaland next week, just leave him in. Fuck, it's bloody hell. Andrew C says, Udogie and Diary or Porro and Ward-Prowse. Don't think much of Diary, mate. Yeah, Porro, it's going to be the same answer all the time with him, mate. Woodstock 1 Chris says, hi James, hope you and yours are well. Wildcard dilemma of either Diaby, Saka or... Diaby, Saka and Haaland, or Salah and Darwin. I'd be on the Saka route, mate. Honestly, still, yeah. Andre says, hi James, Maddison or Diaz on Wildcard. Well aware Diaz will likely miss game week 9, but I'll have a decent first bench if I get him. But you can also have Maddison for the next 2 and they're both good. For me, that's the answer. Lewis says, got it, thank you mate. FPL Mishi, hey James, thanks for the answers. Who transfer for Maddison for -4, Borno or Foden? I presume it's meant to be Bruno. I don't think I'd take -4 either, mate. I don't think. Andrew C says, Diaby and Udogie. We've done it, mate. Come on. Nathan says, hi James, Sky question. Should I do Levi Colwill to Bowen this Sunday or wait until next game we can have Colwill for the Arsenal fixture? There's a case to say wait one more even and go Bowen when they play Everton. Consider that as an option, Nathan. Steve Liss says, morning, would you play Turner or Pickworth? Thanks. I would play Pickworth. Steve Liss says, damn you, predictive text. Adam says, I'm an Arsenal fan. I feel sorry for you, mate. But can't see us winning with either Eddie or Havertz starting in front line, even with Saka starting. Why do you think we'll beat City? Surely more than just Rodri absence. Rodri absence. It's huge. Huge. Shin says, hello James, please bench one from Bowen, Burn and Lamptey, knowing that I have Salah and Trippier. Would really play Tariq Lamptey against Liverpool over Jared Bowen. No, the bench Lamptey, mate. Matthew Shaw, Turner or Martinez? What, start? Martinez, mate. Manx says Maddison or Saka on wild card. Maddison. I'd be making big plans for Bukayo Saka game week 10 though. Personally for me. Bobby96 says, hi mate, hope you're good. Sorry to be a pain. Which of these three combos? Gordon, Calvert-Lewin, McAtee, Hoyland, Mitoma, Archer. The Hoyland route. Cosmos says, hi James, on a wild card with Bowen and Anderson as 5th mid. Do I still stick with this? We'll probably have to change to a 4-4-2 or go with something like Ward-Prowse, Douglas Luiz. No, I'd go Bowen, mate. Lee Parry, hope you're good, James. Wildcard, Bowen and Neto or Diaby and Ward-Prowse. I prefer the Ward-Prowse, but I also think there's a consciousness, like, you asked me that question, I'm sitting there, I'm going, I've got Watkins cash. It's okay. So if I didn't have Watkins, the answer's maybe more Diaby. Does that make sense? Harry says, on wildcard, Darwin, Almiron and Gay or Alvarez, Diaby and Burn. Thanks, James. Good luck in the early kickoff. I'd want to keep Alvarez. Excuse me, would be the priority for me. Hanu says, just say good luck everyone. Best slide 9 stream. Thank you, James. Cheers. Jamie says, thoughts on Pap Sarr as a cheap enabler for 2 weeks. You've obviously therefore got a consciousness that you don't want, say, Porro and Maddison's son, right? Definitely. You're gonna block yourself completely. So fine, I'd just be there's that. It's a real consciousness of you blocking yourself free Tottenham. Like if you're doing that, you're probably less likely to block yourself free Newcastle, I think. Unless you've got double defence. So like under that circumstance, I'd probably just prefer you went Anderson. That would be my take. Lincoln Begg says Neto or Gordon on wildcard. But if you want Sarr to play, then yeah, Sarr. Just to clarify that. Lincoln Begg says Neto or Gordon on wildcard, but play Archer. Cheers. We petrified of Villa at home not to play Neto. Just play Neto, mate. Personally. Yeah. T-Tax says, hey James, Bowen with Enzo and Nakamba on the bench. Or Diaby with Neto on the bench. Wildcard. Don't go Nakamba. And there's better options. I'd prefer Cole Palmer to Fernandez. Probably got to be the same price, I'd guess. So your Bowen option. Dan Leah says Douglas Luiz and 4 yellow cards. Yes, true. That's worth remembering as well. That's a good point, that because I did check it earlier in the week, but I probably should have been more aware of it. Let's just do a quick clarity on yellows and players that are Luca Dean also is 4. Bissouma is relevant for Sky managers. They're the only ones. So Dean Luiz on 4. Edson Alvarez got 4 already. Aaron Hickey's on 4 as well. Mario Lemina's not an FPL. Some on 3. Mitoma's on 3. Bruno Fernandes is on 3. Destiny Udoggy's on 3. Emerson Palmieri, Lucas Paqueta are on 3. Yeah. Matthew Eziashi says, looks like I've got it done, mate. Livarski says Odegaard, Saka to Salah. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you not to buy Salah. You asked me who to sell at the 2. I'd still rather you sold Odegaard. Emmanuel Topo says, hey man, Captain Salah or Son. Also, when's the last time you cried watching football? The last time I cried, which the captaincy is on screen. The last time I cried watching football. It's probably Ajax, I suppose. I would have thought. I can't remember crying that night, though. I did a little bit, certainly after the City quarterfinals. Fucking couldn't breathe after that VAR at the end. I must have. It's got to be Ajax. Tottenham haven't given me enough emotion since to feel enough because of the managers we've had. Tim Rogers, good morning, boss. Good luck today. Good luck to you too. About 3 minutes to deadline, guys. Do get your teams locked in. I haven't got anything in terms of Tottenham potential lineup. Tottenham obviously keeping Nick Close, but as I said, I'd be really surprised if it's not what I said. Dave Lister, I'm well, I hope you are too, mate. No problem, Jarks, I've got it, mate. Andy Max this morning, James. Best Botman replacement for 4.6 or less if already own trips through Doggy Cash. Don't fancy double West Ham defence, by the way. Cheers, mate. I'm going to say Mark Gay. Excuse me. Gavin Richardson says, good morning. First full season engaged player. In your experience, does it pay off to save your gravy wildcard for later if you can? Now, each season's different from that perspective, Gavin, so I wouldn't say there's a right or wrong. This year's a bit different with City maybe having that double in Gameweek 20, for example, but no, each season's different, and I think it's down to personal circumstances. I wouldn't say anyone wildcarding now is wrong or correct per se. It's what's best for everybody. So no, I wouldn't say either way. Going earlier gives you things like value enhancement, stuff like that, which is more difficult later in the season. So you can spin that narrative either way, mate. Connell says, last night on Black Box, Az was saying how impressed he was with Pedro when he's come off the bench. Based on Mitoma playing 90 midweek, I'm playing Pedro over Mitoma. Wonder what your thoughts were. Nah, I wouldn't do that. But Porro was great at Villa last week. It was really good when he came on. Dale D says, Anderson worth the extra over Gay? My opinion's no, actually. No. Discussed this in pre-season with Rory McLaughlin Dowd, Palace correspondent. It's like, as soon as one's much cheaper than the other, just get the cheaper one. It's generally my take. So, could Anderson outscore him? Sure, but that 0.3 might be handy. Again, no info on Tottenham, guys. We are about a minute to deadline, and I'm going to shut this stream down any moment now. So, sorry if I not got to your questions. I probably have covered most stuff, I think. I wish you all the very, very best of luck for this week. I'm disappearing because I want to go and watch Tottenham, and that's what's most important to me. Do you know what I mean? I want to get there, get a nice spot in the pub, get a beer in my hand. All good in the hood. Suj will be back with me for main podcast on Monday. Tuesday, People's Poll podcast. Wednesday, Sky Fantasy. Thursday, Clash of Correspondence, Newcastle versus Crystal Palace with Simon Bibby and Rory. Friday, Ask James, probably be lunchtime-ish. If you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Streams like this do not exist without the supports of our patrons. I mean that genuinely. Next week, a couple of bits coming up. Our podcast will include Q&A Monday. Tuesday, FPL Roberto is going to host a quiz for me. Wednesday will be Tottenham. Thursday will be Money and Football topic to be confirmed. And next Friday, hopefully, not confirmed yet, but hopefully I've got FPL Frog joining me for something a little bit different as well, but we haven't confirmed the time as yet. If you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. The Gameweek 8 deadline has gone. May you all have a great weekend. I hope your arrows are green. Come on, you Spurs.